Hello everybody and welcome back to the weekly review show. So welcome back to another episode of the weekly review show. This is just the show at the end of the week where we just sit down, have a look at how all the markets have been doing and make it easy and relaxing to understand just so we can stay updated in the world. Now I'm over here at the bench just because my whole house is boiling at the moment, so this is the coolest place in the house, and yes, this is cherry soda, it's not wine. So let's head into the first segment of precious metals, our fan favorite on the show. Well, let's get going. Alrighty-o, so at the time of speaking, gold is at an ask price of 2,651 Australian dollars, and I have to be honest, that is not much movement at all since we last spoke. It's been hovering in that high 2,600 range since the last time we spoke, and in fact, we can have a look at the live prices, and in fact, we did have a bit of a pull up, which is good to see over the last 24 hours, peaking up to 2,680, and then we've made it back down to about that 2650 mark. Now, over the last month, we have seen gold above 2,700, but we have had a big pullback in the precious metals area, down quite a little bit. No, the lighting's not going to work in this area, but we went down from above the 2700s all the way to below 2660, and then we've actually made a pretty good recovery back up after a continued downfall. Obviously just a minor pullback for precious metals, but nothing to worry about. Gold is getting its stability and we are strengthening up. Now, just to remind you all, I am using the AGD Precious Metals app, a great app to look at the prices and stay tuned. And I hope you will too. So silver, moving on, is currently at 33.27 Australian dollars per ounce, troy ounce that is. And if we take a look on the last day alone, we can see that silver has not been moving very much. We've had minor pull-ups to above 33.80 and just come down a little bit. So not heaps of action over the last 24 hours. Obviously, we always have minor ups and downs. We did drop below the 33 mark today, but back up again and looking pretty strong. Now, over the last month, we have the $40 vicinity in our eyes. We can see that over on the 10th of September, we were somehow above $40. It must have taken a bit of a spike, but we were hovering around $37.60 for quite a while until silver took a small pullback down to just above $35, spiked up back up to nearly $39, and then boom, right down to about $32.20. Now we've made our way back up to above $34 at some points, but now we're currently in the $33 zone, looking pretty good for the silver. Now, we'll just take a quick overview look at platinum and palladium. Platinum currently sitting at $1,240 an ounce, looking pretty good. Now, they don't usually give me the really specific data with these metals, but we'll see if we can get any results. Oh, we can. Okay, platinum we saw about above 1,265 today and down nearly at 1,230. So a bit of movement today, and of course the monthly isn't usually working. The monthly doesn't usually work on platinum and palladium, I don't know why. But if we have a look at palladium, however, we can see live prices, we hit above. Hang on, I have to give you guys the actual palladium price. 3,310 Australian dollars per ounce of platinum, and over on palladium. I keep on saying platinum, palladium. But we've seen palladium above 3,270 today, had a pullback down to nearly 3,200, and we're sitting around, again, the 3,210 mark. So looking pretty good for palladium. It's keeping its ground, and we can just switch over to the USD to see gold at just under $1,900. It'll be really good when we can break that 1,900 US again and stay there for a while. I'd like to see that. However, on silver, we are at 23.83 per troy ounce. I think if we can keep strong above 25-ish, we should be good to go on the rest of the month, even the year. So that's pretty much it for the precious metals. Let's head on to the next segment. Now moving on to the share market, we're taking a look at a lot of red numbers at the moment, and that is showing a bit of a downfall in the economy, especially in the US shares, and that is mainly due to the current event showing that Donald Trump, the president of the US, has caught the coronavirus and has been moved to the hospital. So, I mean, we'll wait and see what happens there, but that has caused a lot of uncertainty, and we've seen most of my shares here that I'm looking at, especially based in the US, all looking down a bit, but we have seen some good movement in the S&P 500 shares over the past week or so. We are not up too much, just fractionally in a percentage, but from the lowest point to the highest point in the week, we're up about 2.3%, which is pretty good movement in just a week. We've seen a high over the last week at whoa, that was pretty good. Sorry, I just shock myself sometimes. At 339 US dollars, just under the 340, and a low of around 333. Now, over the past day, again, we are in the reds, so that means we're down in the share price, and that is due, again, to the current issues. If we have a look over the last month, we are also in the red, at the highest point being $346, the all-time high of the share, I believe, and the all-time low that month, 323. So we can obviously see that the current trajectory of the S&P 500 is based downwards, and it's looking a little unstable, but we remain to see how well it's doing. So over the past 3 months, we see the all-time high of the share at $359. I was mistaken before, $359, just under 360, and that is the all-time high of the S&P 500 as far as I can see here. But that is all we have for this share here. If you're looking for this in the stock exchange, it is the ticker symbol IVV. So make sure to check that out if you're interested. Now Tesla, it's plummeted. Yes, excuse me there. Tesla down 33 points. I believe that means $33. So over the past day alone, not looking good for Tesla. From the highest to the lowest, down 5%. Not great at all. This is obviously a company being very heavily impacted by the current situation. And over the past week, we've seen a high of just under 450 US dollars for the share and a low of, holy guacamole, 412. So a lot of movement going on in Tesla. They are green over the past month though, their all-time high being above that 350 mark we talked about. Last 3 months, it's always important to go back with Tesla, just under 500 when they split. So they've taken a bit of a hit. They did take a very big hit, in fact. Over the past 6 months, we've seen a lot of good movement. And quite obviously, I can't see the big share price after they split. But we were pretty much at the all-time high of Tesla when they split, so it's pretty interesting to see what Tesla's doing. It's a very, very shaky share, but it's interesting to watch. So let's move on to something else, which is quite interesting actually to look at in relation to the gold price, and that is some gold mining ETFs. So our favorite to look at the moment is the GDX. That's the ticker symbol GDX, VanEck Vectors Gold Miners ETF. So over the past day, they're down a fractional amount of a point of a dollar, I guess you could say, and the all-time high in the day being $39.51, and the low being $38.79. Over the past week, we are also in the red. We just hit just over $40 this week, and we have dropped at one point to under $38.50. Over the past month, again, red took a hit when gold took a hit. It dropped all the way down to $37.45 after being up in the 43s, 44s, even the 45s. Over the past 3 months, however, they are doing very well as gold has done well, and we've seen it all the way down at 37 and all the way up again in those lovely 45 marks. So a lot of potential in this mining ETF. If we look over the past year, and I just do this handy thing with the Apple shares, it's up over 150% as gold is also doing very well. So it's really quite interesting to follow all of these things. These are shares that we commonly look at, but we also have one more that I've added to the mix today just to keep things interesting, and we'll have a look at it right about now. Now this is one that is quite interesting to look at, and it's one of several that I've added to my watch list recently, and that is the Etsy share. So if you don't know what Etsy is, it's an online store where people basically can sell their own handcrafted things or just sell other things in general. But it is particularly interesting because it is one of the most recent shares that's been added to the S&P 500, the IVV we were just looking at before. So this is a company that makes up a fractional amount of that IVV share. Now, as we can see over the past month, roughly when it was inducted, it has really taken to the skies. A low of $107 and a high of $131 at the time we speak. That's an increase of over 25% in the space of half a month. So it's obviously taking a really nice push up in the current glory it's basking in after joining the S&P. Green in the past week. It is red over the past day, however. Took a little bit of a hit from that 133 down to the 129, but it has recovered pretty well and we are still over 130. So I'm keeping an eye on this. It's always interesting to watch and see how shares do after they're brought into these big index funds, because they've obviously been chosen for their stability, because these, Standard & Poor's 500, that's the IVV, the VanEck, no, not the VanEck, what are they called? Those really, really big ones. Vanguard, yes, they have those big ETFs. So it's always interesting to see what happens to those companies after they're brought in, because they usually get a lot of interest after people see that they've been chosen by this massive ETF. So I'm watching it. It's looking pretty interesting. After all, over the past 10 years, it's negligible. It was worth nothing, like $5, and we're up at 131, crazy big increase, 1,000% if you look at it on the Apple shares. So that's pretty much it. I think we'll go and wrap it up and head over now. So that is it for today's episode, everybody. I hope you enjoyed. I definitely had a lot of fun today. Really enjoyed myself, so I hope you did too. Now, I would like to give a little hint and let you guys all know that we have the current series going on, how to earn your very own ounce of silver. All the steps lined out for you, all the ways that you can earn it, and some tips on what to buy in particular. So that's a series going on. I will link it somewhere on the page, as these things usually pop up at the end of the video, but I highly recommend you check it out. No personal benefit, just except helping you guys. Now, make sure to subscribe, like that button there, and stay tuned for the future videos. Again, if you have any questions whatsoever, let me know in the comments down below. And until next time, everybody. I nearly dropped that.